Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of weekly check-in, Life Unscripted, with your four co-hosts. I'm Veronica. I have a nonprofit. It's called Help from a Sister, where we cater to single parents who have a child on the autism spectrum. I'm going to give each person time to introduce themselves, starting with Keisha.
Hello. I am Keisha L. Blair. I am a workshop facilitator, international speaker, and podcast host of Alpha Intuition. And I'm also a skilled trades advocate where I promote skilled trades for women and young children.
Okay, next we have Francis.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francis Hawkins. I am a financial specialist with Primerica Financial Services, where we educate and take pride into helping individuals prepare for their future as far as retirement and also life insurance.
Awesome. And then we have Ernest.
Hey, everybody. I am Ernest James. I am a podcaster, speaker, and author. My mission is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. To deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. And that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Great. So today we're going to try to cover two topics. One, we're going to continue for last week because we were having technical issues. So we're going to talk about finances, and we're also going to see if we can start the conversation on how to cope with past trauma and not let that hinder your future performance. And we're still honoring National Women's Month. So, do anybody have any tips when it comes to finances that you would like to share?
Well, I found out something just today that was really, it's like, you know how you know something, but then you forget about it. But then when somebody bring it back to you, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. So I listened to the Potter House, and they were talking about finances. They gave me actually an aha moment for my future purchases as far as cars go, how not to just go to the dealership and let them find you a bank. Use your own bank that you're already banking with and have a history with in your credit union, because you'll get a better rate of return possibly for the money that you borrow, rather interest rate, that's what I'm trying to say, for the money that you borrow, than getting it from a bank that you don't even know that they don't know you. So that's something I found out that was so profound. And just putting in order, you know, how would you handle your finance from here on out with making mistakes with your credit cards and things of that nature, and how not to have so many. What is more important to you, your major credit cards versus your department store credit cards? So when they get ready to offer you, oh, you get 30% off if you open this card. No, it's okay. I don't need the 30% off. I'm fine with what I have. So those are some things that I found to be very interesting that I made to stick with me, because therefore I know what not to get. I know what to get that's most that I could use more of, you know, for the cars and things of that nature when it comes down to major credit cards, and not a lot of them.
Sounds. I like what you're saying. Usually, before I go get a car, I actually do my own research. I think Capital One gives very good interest rates when you're buying a car. Of course, you're a bank, and if you're with a credit union, depends on the credit union. Credit unions are always a little less than the bank. But I agree. Do your own homework when it comes to the interest rates. But not only that, you don't have to go in and sit with the finance manager to get all the warranties. You can go research. If you find a car you want, and go online. And once you find the prices online, then you go to the dealership and have them meet those prices. So now you already know, you've already considered what your interest rate was, what's the best price you want to pay for this car, and now you're going to negotiate that.
Yes.
And you can negotiate those warranties too.
That's good advice, because another thing that if you allow them to find the bank for you and then finance it, You know, you may need additional insurance like gap insurance, to where the bank, if you go to your own bank, that may be included, and you may be able, depending on what insurance company you have as well, you won't have to have that gap insurance because your car will be fully covered for the amount that you're financing it for, as opposed to whatever the loan is, and then if something happens to your vehicle, they're only going to cover what you owe, as opposed to or excuse me, what the car is worth, as opposed to how much you owe.
Yes, I agree with
That's
that.
true. And then I just heard something else about that gap insurance. So if you like your transmission go out or something happened to your car where it's not involved in an accident, but it gets damaged and you can no longer drive it, gap insurance don't cover that. They'll just
Mhm.
reimburse you for the other months.
I
Mm.
had a situation I was in. I had to use my gap insurance. And to be totally honest, I was glad that I did receive that gap insurance, that I did purchase it, because my car was totaled out. And they gave me the insurance paid the car, but they gave me the interest, the remaining money back. So I was able to go back, purchase another car.
Mm.
So I was really appreciative that I had the gap insurance, not when I was younger and I didn't know anything about gap in my 20s, and I just purchased a car, I just had insurance, I was left with a balance. Then I had to maintain and pay that before I could even go look at another vehicle, due to the simple fact I had that remaining over my head. But now I make sure I keep gap to help out. Yeah.
Gap, and then I guess the extended warranty. And you don't have to get that from the dealership. They have
Mhm.
other programs that have the extended warranty that'll cover the transmission, motor. I don't know if those should be
Yeah,
different.
that's what it's, mhm.
Okay. And any major thing that happens, yes, you have to pay them every month a certain amount, but you wouldn't have to come out your pocket with the 3 to 4 thousand to get that fixed.
Look, and I don't know if we caught this last week, but I was mentioning to Ernest that one way to learn about credit and to what to do to repair your credit is to screw it up really bad, like I did, because my credit was on life support, and I did a lot of crazy things to where I know, as in years later, it's like, why did I even do that? But it sounded good at the time. It's like,
You
for
worry about
instance, saying
yourself.
about, oh, I'm gonna get this 30% off, and I'm gonna go ahead, not knowing that is going to reduce your credit score anywhere from 30 to like 100 points, and just that 30% is not even worth it. And just little stuff like that, to where you're thinking about being in the moment, which a lot of younger people do. Think about what happens in the future when you're doing these things to your credit, or in life in general. So that's one thing that I've learned over time is I have to learn how to repair my own credit. And one thing I mentioned is that don't pay anybody to repair your credit. You can do it yourself. You just got to do a little bit of research. And Credit Karma is really good. That's one thing that I started with, and they give you a lot of tips and tools, and you just research those. You can dispute things. I know people say, "Oh, mail in a letter." Okay, well, if you mail in a letter, where is it going? Who's going to take it off your credit? You know what I mean? It's like people just tell you all kind of stuff, and you just giving money away, and getting digging that hole deeper and deeper and deeper, not even realizing that if you just take the time to do a little bit of research and put a little logic to it, you can repair your credit yourself, and it's not going to happen overnight. So when you have somebody that says, "Give me $500 or give me like $1,000, and I can repair your credit," what all they're going to do is, what is it? One of you guys may know this. It's like they may dispute some things, or it may be a report that some fraudulent things have happened. But once they realize those fraudulent things didn't happen, or whatever you reported, after they do their research, it's going to come right back on your credit. Now you've lost your money and you're still in the hole.
In the same situation versus sitting there. And you know what? I'm a true believer in the same thing. I fixed my own credit. I started
Mhm.
in 2006 with my own journey of fixing it and looking for programs that would help me. So back then, I used to have a Dreams Begin loan. Now you can get a secure credit card. So save up some money or your income tax. This is the season.
Mhm.
Go get a secure credit card for $1,000. Use it like it's cash
Mhm.
because it's your money. You put it up, but you're using it to rebuild your credit. So that's one trade line that can help you.
And then another thing, like you mentioned about the secure credit, you don't want to max it out, because if it's a revolving credit card, you don't want to use, really, you want to keep it around 10%. You need no more than 30. People say 30, but that's really the max. You want your credit to actually, your score to increase, you need to keep it under 10%.
And I'm going to piggyback off both you ladies. Also, a good thing that I found out, you have a choice to pick what credit cards you want instead of getting every time they send you one. And also do your homework on the banks that holds the credit card. Because when one credit card company or bank um, say a negative report to your credit and everyone starts looking at it, they're going to start decreasing your amount of what they give you. And then it's going to bring your credit score down as well. I cannot stand synchrony. I'm going to say it just.
I'm with you on that one, Francis. They on my hit list. I will never, ever, ever do another car with Synchrony. I'm sorry,
I
I
do
ain't
not
doing
like
it.
Synchrony. No, I can do not. And they have a lot of credit cards.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of companies, you don't even realize it. It's like
You don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Always check and see who the bank is that holds that credit card.
That's right.
That will help you tremendously.
Okay, so let me tell y'all about my two favorite credit cards. One, all-time favorite, hands down, American Express.
Okay.
American
Yes.
Express.
I got like 6 American Express credit cards. I love American Express.
Yes. My second favorite, and I don't have this credit card, but hey, I'm going to still tell y'all to get it because I love it, the Discover It card. The Discover It card, you can have that card. So that's the only credit card that I know, back when I was doing my research.
Write that down.
Every 4 months, you can request a credit line increase. Not 6. Most credit card companies is 6 months or a year. No, Discover It every 4 months. And then they have that introductory interest rate where you can get 12 months no interest.
Girl, we signed up for that today. I love those.
After you have them so many years, 3 or 4 years, you can call them back and say, hey, I want to make a major purchase. But 1, I want to increase my credit limit so it doesn't look like I'm using all my credit. And 2, can I get this introductory rate again? They will give it to you. As long as you're in good standing with them. I've used them several times. And this is probably why I don't have the card anymore. Because for my trucking company, I used to put our leases on there. And I pay it, but I was $30,000 a month went on that card. They did not give 1 cent of interest on me. I paid it in full every month before it was due. And I want to say that's the reason they told me, like, hey, we got to sever our relationship, because I was not, and I know this now.
It wasn't making any money off you.
Well,
I pay mine in full every month too now.
I was using it for a business, but that was my personal credit card. I should have got the business credit card.
Okay.
So they don't want you to do your business transactions on your personal card. Okay. But yeah, they didn't make any money either. But hey, I still love that card. Discover It.
Okay.
And American Express.
Well, my 2 favorite, I'm agree with American Express. My second one is Chase Sapphire. That's one of I use the American Express Platinum and the Chase Sapphire probably the most.
So for the Platinum Sapphire, what's the rewards on that card?
Honestly, I'd use my points to either pay my bill or I'll use it to book hotel rooms, to book flights. I use basically all of them for that, but this is so the American Express Platinum, and then I have the Chase Sapphire. So the American Express Platinum, because I fly Delta a lot, I can take those points and convert them over to Delta Sky Miles. So that's the benefit of American Express. But I have an American Express Hilton to where I use it to book rooms. I get double points for that. Now the Chase Sapphire, I pretty much use that one like every day. And this is what I try to tell, I use my kids as examples, but I try to tell them you can't spend money and use credit at the same time. So when I'm spending that credit card, the money that I'm paying, I pay it off in full at the end of every month. And I don't, take the money I got in the bank and spend it on something else and then use credit to where I'm digging that hole deeper for myself. So every month, when I'm using those credit cards, I'm paying them off at the end of every month to make sure that I keep my credit in good standing. But anytime I have points, I'll just use the points to either pay off some of the stuff that I have on there, because they'll tell me, oh, you have like $300 in credits. You can either, I can book rooms with it, but because I have the American Express that I use to, and then the Hilton, I booked the Hilton, the American Express Hilton to book the rooms, the American Express to book the flights, and then I use the Chase to pay off the stuff that I get with Chase.
Okay, so I'm gonna say one better. When it comes to paying your credit card bills, pay them weekly or bi-weekly, depending on how you get paid, because you're spending the money like it's cash. Your credit, you want to use it like it's cash. So
Mhm.
therefore, if I spend $500, when I get paid, the money was sitting in my account already, but I just want to get a routine of making sure my credit cards get paid. So it doesn't matter when they're due. I'm not focusing on those due dates because I'm paying them every week or every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'm using it like it's cash. Only the money in my account is the
That's
money
right.
I'm paying.
That's right.
And that you'll start getting a little more discipline, and you're not focusing on one interest because your objective is not
Interest
to
is
pay
no.
interest. It's to use someone else's money, get the reward points for it, but don't be penalized.
There you go. And I'm gonna tell you something else that I do. I'll look for whatever date of the last date of the billing cycle, and I'll put that on my calendar. So I'll know this is the day that the statement is closing. So I'm gonna make sure I pay it down to zero. So it reports that I don't owe them any money.
That's true.
So that's kind of a hack that I do as well.
I have a question for you ladies. Do you all know that it's more than one credit bureau? I mean, besides uh ex,
That's
Equifax,
big three.
like
TransUnion.
that it's about five of them.
Mm.
Okay, so I
I
know
didn't
about the
know.
three.
It's three, but it's two more. I don't know where I was looking at, and normally I either try to
Is Nexus one of them?
yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, and it's one more. It's like five different credit bureaus.
Mm.
So I
But
know
that's
about
the
the
one you
make
know about
well
this
four
three.
now.
Right.
I didn't
That's
think
what that,
Nexus.
yeah.
I didn't know Nexus was with them. I know Nexus is a different reporting agency.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard about that next. I just thought it was just the big three:
Mm-mm.
Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax.
It's about five of them.
Okay.
That's something I seen. Um, and I'm like, wow, five. I thought it was only three. So yeah, and one of them was an N Nexus. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Lexus Nexus. Yeah.
So I'll say this really quickly because I'm learning from you guys. Because I used to have really good credit, but the only thing that messed my credit up was financial hardship. So my suggestion for everybody, as part of building your credit, is make sure you have something to the side, to try to keep up with things once the transitions of life happen. Because I
Mm-hmm.
had A1 credit and I was good, and then we had layoff season, and that was right when the recession hit, and so we was laid off longer than we was expected to be laid off, and so that kind of hit my finances, where I got behind on some things with my credit, and I've been building back ever since. So that
Mm.
would be one of my suggestions. Just make sure you have something sitting to the side because you never know.
Very, very good,
Yeah,
Ernest.
very true.
It's so funny that you mentioned that is that's because that's something I'm teaching now for people to just have something for a rainy day. You don't want to touch your retirement funds. You don't want to do that, but find you a money market account because I had to learn that way. I have my Roth IRA. I'm feeding it to, and then
Mm-hmm.
a situation happened. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to pull no money out of there. So our company do offer money market account, and I'm like, let me get me a money market account because that's for my rainy day money. That's for my emergency money over here, and I feel more comfortable touching it than going into my retirement money because it just makes sense.
Right.
And you are correct, Ernest. I mean, that's something I'm really pushing to help other people's with that because that's the first places we run. We run to our 401ks, we run to our Roth IRAs,
Mm-hmm.
and then have to pay those back with your market account. You just be paying yourself back. You can't. And my mother always told me you can't miss nothing you never had.
That's
So that
right.
works out for me. But yeah, that's something that I push. It makes a
Awesome.
lot of sense.
And it does. But you know what you can also do? And my daughter just shared this with me recently. You can call your credit card companies and say, hey, I'm having a financial hardship. Can you give me 6 months interest free?
Mm.
And then so we were talking about it. I think April, she's supposed to have her credit cards paid off. And I'm like, hey, do you want me to help you? She's so independent. She's like, no, ma, I got this. She's like, I'm going to call my credit card company again and tell them, hey, I'm still in this situation. Can they extend it? Because she's about to do a fix and flip. I'm like, I don't think they're going to do it again, but let me know because, our goal is not to pay interest. She's like, okay, mom. I called her today, like, see, You didn't call me Friday to tell me. She was like, Mom, they extended it. I have until August to pay it off with no interest.
Great.
And I'm like, okay, are you going to have it? She's like, Mom, I'll talk to you in July about it. But right now I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But so just communicate with them to let them know, like, hey, I'm in a financial hardship. I can make the minimum payment, but I can't do the interest. Is there any way? And these credit cards, she's probably had since she was 18, because I want to say at 16 she was on my credit, but 18 she got her own credit card. She's 27. She'll be 28 this year.
Oh, my daughter just turned 28.
Yeah, so that's another avenue. Call and talk to them. See what programs they have for you, because if they have a good history with you, they're going to want to keep that, and they know life happens.
It does.
And I know they used to have these programs with your credit card companies that if you don't have it and you do go into a hardship, they are already charging you a small amount of interest on every payment or your outstanding balance. So therefore they'll cover those minimum payments. Have you all heard of that program with the different credit cards?
No. Say that again.
Yeah, could you?
Okay, so each credit card, some have a program that whatever your balance is at the end of the month, they'll tack a little on to it. And if you get into a hardship, I'm gonna have to look that up now and find out. But they'll cover your payments, like you lose your job, something major happens, you let the credit card company know you have so many months and they'll pay that amount for you.
Okay. I think I've heard of Synchrony doing that, believe it or not. Synchrony, they were the one that offered for one of those. You know, it was one of those department stores that I got. Whoever it was, like Lane Bryant or somebody like that. You know what I mean? To where they'll try to or like Victoria's Secret, where they'll try to me, it was just them trying to get extra money from me. So I'm like, no, because I don't even really shop there that often. I was just getting the card for the utilization rate.
Okay, so I think you looked at Victoria's Secret, where I saw that promotion. But okay, great topic, ladies. So let's touch bases on, I've had a conversation recently, and the person was telling me, like, their past, sometimes they don't even want to get out of bed because they start thinking about what has happened to them or their past failures or regrets. And I'm like, that's a distraction. So I sent a long text today of some things that they can let go and say to themselves every day to know that we can't change our past. It's not what happened to us. It's how do we respond to what's happening to us. But letting our past hinder our future because we can't get out of bed, to me, is not an option.
Mm-mm.
But what would you say to a person in that situation?
Well, I'll speak briefly. One of the things that I talk about is maximizing your failures, right? And so it's looking at the things that you may have failed at and realizing that with every failure, there are some things within it that may help you, what you can pull out. And I always often share the story with my dad. With my earliest failure, I ended up failing a grade in school, and having a conversation with my dad where he said something that changed the rest of my life. And those 4 words were, "I'm disappointed in you." And because he said that, and I felt that so hard on my inside, it made me change everything, the way I approach things. And I became an honor roll student, graduated high school in 3 years instead of 4 years, went to college, graduated college, all of those things because I had a driving force that I had to sort of make up for, as far as myself, saying that I never wanted to hear my dad say that he was disappointed in me ever again. And so even with everything, there's a thing called the law of polarity, which means there's nothing that's all good and nothing that's all bad, but there's a good and bad to everything in life. So even in your failures, if you examine it, there are some good things in it. Recently there are some people that I know that had a loss where their mom passed away. And definitely knowing, having that experience of my mom passing away, also, you know, you will look at it and say that's just terrible. But even in that, there are some things that can be considered good, especially if they pass away from sickness. It's a blessing that they're no longer sick, that they're no longer suffering. That's one. But then it's also a blessing that now the family actually comes back together. And it's unfortunate that those are the events that usually bring us together. But yet and still, it is what it is. But those by us coming back together in those moments, it gives us time to rebuild relationships and things of that nature. So in everything, even in our failures, we can find that ray of hope, that ray of light in those spaces if we look for them. But if we go into the woe is me and just bad, bad, and it's always raining on me, then you're never going to find it. But if you start looking at every situation, you'll find that there are some gems in everything that you go through, even the bad things.
That is so true.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you this. What I want to say on that is like, even just to acknowledge and accept. I know Ernest is really good in this area, and sometimes, people always tend to want to look external for a solution when they need to look internal for the solution. And then just acknowledge that it happened. I mean, you can't change it, but you have to learn how to deal with it. Like Ernest, you have to deal with it, you have to heal from it, and then you fulfill. So you fulfill your future by acknowledging what happened to you and knowing that it didn't, I mean, doesn't mean that it was right. You're not saying that it was right because it
Hmm.
happened, but you're understanding and you're dealing with it to know how you can move forward in your future. And that starts with acceptance.
Okay, that's true. Francis, do you have anything you want to add to it?
Um, I look at things maybe a little bit different than others because if me personally, would have allowed for people not to support me or people saying things or I should quit or this, that, and the other, if I would have allowed that to happen, I wouldn't be keep striving. Um, I don't, I wouldn't personally go into a dark place because when you go into a dark place, that's where the enemy wants you at, in a dark place, because he come to kill through the mind, man, and through your mind. So if you have you up to yourself and you're not able to get no good, get advice from someone, or look at your options of what mistakes that you made, but you're able to come through it and you can start over again. Look at some of the people that decided to take their lives when we went through that in 2008, when the economy went, the way that it went, and things to that nature. So I wouldn't stay in that place. I would try to move around from that place and be around other people to talk about it. So, especially supportive people that know what you're talking about and been some places as well. So you won't feel as bad about the mistakes that was made, because through every mistake, as Ernest said, there's a lesson and a blessing through all of it, one way or the other, but you got to get yourself out of the dark place. Unfortunately, I got to go here with this because everyone is going to deal with death. I just went through two of them back to back. A couple of years ago, I went through four of them. But
Mm.
like I said, how long are we going to stay there? So I noticed, even though it hurt me deeply, I was there for like 4 days. I literally had to count the days, because when I count the days, it let me know, okay, I was there 4 days. Now I still got to go and make this up. I did my morning because everybody mourned differently. That's just like a business. Your business could have been a death or whatever the case might. How long are you going to literally stay there? Did you really want this business? Did God give you the spirit to do this business? And things to that nature. So you got to be able to shake it off. It's going to take some time, but you don't have to stay there. You don't have to wallow in it. You have to get up, do what you need to do. Go let the sun come out on you, but to just stay there and just give up is not an option. It's really not. If that's something that you strive, and God gave you the spirit of entrepreneurship, to do these things. So that's what I would say. Just don't lay there and wallow.
Yes.
Just talk to other people. And that's why they say you have to be around like-minded people, to be able to learn what other people experience with. So you're like, oh, really? They went through that? They filed bankruptcy how many times? Oh, well, No, that wasn't nothing. But again, you got to open your mind to it. You have to be open-minded to it, and don't be afraid to share your experience of what you have just experienced through your business. That's all I got.
Correct. Oh, and I like that too. So I would also like to add to that that if you can't do it for yourself, because hey, sometimes people say I can't get out of this. Like it's nowhere around it. It's everywhere I turn. But then find someone else that you can focus on to get the attention off you. Because when I was going through hardship, I focused on my two children. It's okay if I can't get up for myself and do nothing. That's fine. I got to do it for them. So that gave me that extra boost to get up and get some things done because it was bigger than me.
They
I
depended
guess
on
that's
you,
the
yeah.
tip. Find something that's
Mhm.
bigger than you. So therefore you take the attention and the focus off you and now you put it on something else until you can get back to doing things that you need to do for yourself.
Definitely that.
I agree
I
with that.
agree.
Okay. And then I also have a couple of things that I share. I'm going to share like three of them. So it's letting go. So I said, let go of the thoughts that don't make you feel empowered or strong. Let go of your feeling of regret for not doing what you truly wanted to do. The third one is let go of the fear of the unknown. Take a small step and watch the pathway reveal itself. I mean, I have more, but those are like a couple of things that I sent that you got to let go of some stuff. We can't take everything with us.
Yeah. And I want to mention something too, because you talked about how do you move forward so that your past doesn't hinder or affect your future. The one huge thing that we need to all do is to break the pattern, break the cycle, because if you don't deal with it and you continue the cycle and it shows up in your children and your grandchildren and so forth,
Yes.
it's never going to end. So we got to break the cycle, and you start by understanding why it happened and what you need to do so that you don't pass that trauma on to the next generation.
Oh, that's true.
That is so true. But it's another one that I like. And if we would say this every day, literally all of us, and I know sometimes we might forget, is the serenity spirit. God grant me the
Mhm.
serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is so profound because I have it in my home, and one day I just stop and I just look. If I
Yeah.
can't do nothing about it, I don't want to talk. To be honest, I tell people I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about it. I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Because the more you worry, like you was just saying, the more you have it in your mindset and trying to think, but it's not yours to fix. You just got to let it be. I don't know who made that serenity prayer, but that one right there, if we focus on that, we are unstoppable. To know that there's things that we just not can we just can't change.
And like Veronica, like you said, it's about how you respond. Because just because someone does something to you, it does not mean that you have to react. You can, but that doesn't mean that that's a wise decision. So you have to remember that some things, guess what? You may not have control over, but the one thing you always have control over is how you react to a
That
situation.
is so true.
Yes.
Mhm. That yes, and I love the serenity prayer. I share that with everybody. I don't know how many times a day I use it, but yes, that's my go-to prayer.
Good
All
stuff.
right. Okay, ladies, tell me what do you have coming up this week? What are you working on? What's
Oh, look, my weeks have been so busy. I'm really excited for this season. I'm really excited for this season. So I'm doing my coaching, my one-on-one coaching. It's almost the end of the month. I only have a week left, and I'm running my special. So if anybody wants to, it's my free coaching, not free, excuse me. It's complimentary, a personality assessment that I couple with my clarity call. And if you go to my link tree, then you'll see it on there. It'll say clarity call and assessment. And that is where I'm still running through the end of the month for $97. After that, it's going to go up. It's going to go up. So today's prices is not tomorrow's prices. And the other thing that I'm working on that I have going on right now is my Crafting Careers That Build tour, that I'm taking my workshops about talking about the skilled trades into the schools. So, I know school year is almost out. So I'm booking for the end of the school year and then for next year. as well. So trying to get that 2025 school season in for crafting careers that build, so I can talk to these kids about the benefit of having a skilled trade.
Awesome. Oh yeah, that's some amazing stuff. Sounds good. Francis, what do you have coming up?
Oh, yeah. And like she said, it's the end of the month. I have a couple of clients that I have to see. The weekend is coming. I have 3 events to go to, do some networking there and things of that nature. I'm getting together where I'll be speaking at an office for a young lady to talk to individuals about, investing and things of that nature. So this week is going to be really full for me, and also taking care of my mom. So it's going to be a full week.
Okay, I'm praying strength and energy for both of you all.
Nike, just do it.
Wow.
So this week I am getting out the speakers agreements for the Single Parents Conference that I have coming up May 17th. I just had a young lady told me she's going to be my MC for the event. Yes, reaching out to some sponsors and vendors, because that's next on my list. And I'm on a countdown. So I have a social media person who's going to help me.
May 17th, man, that is my son's graduation date. Oh, so he's graduating from high school. Yes, that's the last one.
That's
Before I go, baby. Woo!
And he's already set for which college he wants. Because I know you're saying he had a variety of
He still
colleges.
got some, but he's got his eyes set on Clark Atlanta. So we need him. He hopefully, if he's watching this, he already know. You got accepted in the University of Memphis, right down the street. So do what you got to do to make it to Clark Atlanta. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Awesome.
Excuse me. I'm giving. I've given a couple of young ladies your information because they want to become vendors. I'm gonna follow up with them to see if they reached out to you. I don't know if they have or haven't yet, but yeah, I got a couple of young ladies that's interested.
Awesome. And they can go to the website. Everything is up on the website.
Okay. I did send the flyer to them.
Awesome. Sounds great. And what else?
Can I mention one more thing, Veronica?
Of course. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that, this is centered around what we're talking about. We're dealing with the past trauma. One thing that I've learned that has helped me tremendously is the assessment that I am offering. So if there's anybody listening that has, thinking about it and don't really, we don't like to go to the psychologist. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I have been trained in how to break this down by using the information from the personality assessment that I use. It's called the flight assessment. So if you're interested, by all means, go to my link tree and you'll see the one for the clarity call.
Awesome. And then this Saturday coming up, my grandson made the All-Star team.
Congrats.
Yes, congratulations.
Good stuff.
But on that note, ladies,
I have one question. I don't know if Ernest might have mentioned to you ladies. Did he do the tickets yet? Because I know I got to get your tickets too for the daddy-daughter dance.
I don't think he has. And Cleo, hold on one second, babe. Supposed to get back to me this week. I called him Friday to see if the village have agreed to let us use their facility. So once we confirm the location, then we can set the tickets and everything.
And what date is it supposed to take place?
So he is the Sunday after Father's Day. I want to say
that's like June.
Sunday in June.
Is it?
Hold on, it's like the second Sunday, right? No, Father's Day is the third Sunday, so it will be the 22nd, June 22nd. You said the Saturday or Sunday? Sunday after Sunday. Sunday after Father's Day would be the 22nd.
Yes. So we're going to promote all that. And then if you all want to create the flyers, I'm going to also add that to my website for upcoming events. So therefore,
you create flyers?
No, but I have an assistant that does.
Okay.
So if you got if you have some information, send it to me. I'll send it to her. She's off on Sundays and Mondays. And that's why I told friends I extended it to my group and say, hey, if y'all don't have a flyer or something, send me your information. Let me have her create it. and I send it back to you. If you approve it, I send it to you. That's
Got it.
yours.
Okay, yeah, I remember now.
Hold on 1 second, babe. So, yeah, ladies, very good conversation this week in reference to credit and healing from past trauma, to not let our past hurts affect our future. And I think we can close it out and give everyone to enjoy, have them to enjoy the rest of their Sunday.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
That's right. All right.
Yes.
See you later.
Bye.